Right. Well, there was a school of thought that suggested that the U.S. dollar would continue as world reserve currency and that the Bitcoin would be the world reserve asset. And I never bought into that theory. I questioned it. I just didn't see that happening. It seems to me that Bitcoin was going to eat all the fiat money world in the world, and it was going to eat gold, and it was going to eat all assets. And so when you have the rise of Bitcoin and you have the fall of fiat, that fall of fiat is going to be everything attached to fiat. The petrodollar is certainly attached to fiat. The military-industrial complex is attached to fiat. The global bond market is attached to fiat. So when these things crack and they fall apart, it's going to be kinetic, very kinetic. And people are going to be like, bang, 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 shooting at each other because, this is revert to human nature, which is one of the biggest cycles of all. Human nature is something that you can't really escape from. So this is the fall of fiat money. That's what we're seeing.
Longtime crypto supporter and Bitcoin bull Max Keiser recently made a price prediction for Bitcoin that shocked everyone. According to the host of RT's KEISER report, some of Bitcoin's recent price action may be tied to the derivatives market, but that weakening fiat currencies will ultimately prevail as a catalyst to push BTC higher. He predicts that Bitcoin will eclipse the market cap of gold as it becomes a preferred store of value asset. Hello and welcome to Money Talks. In today's video, Max Keiser talks about the de-dollarization and deglobalization, fall of fiat money, increase in money printing, Bitcoin revolution in El Salvador, and why Bitcoin is the new reality. Stay tuned till the end of this video, where I will reveal Max Keiser's latest Bitcoin prediction for 2022. If you like the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the post notifications. Let's dive right into the video.
You got deglobalization and de-dollarization. So those two themes we identified 2 years ago, and then we said this year would be the big year for de-dollarization and deglobalization. And so that's what we're talking about. So both of those things were, had a lifespan that would eventually come to an end. The U.S. dollar is a world reserve currency since the end of World War II, so-called 70, 75 years. You had the U.S. dollar as world reserve currency. Since 1971, it became a Ponzi scheme. And the theme of extend and pretend became the dominant force in the global economy, where all problems were solved by printing more money and extending the maturity of all the bonds and lowering the coupon. And in this way, you had malinvestment, you had the rise of the kleptocrats in America and around the world, you had the financialization boom, and you had the deindustrialization that went on in the United States that could only be made possible if you had concurrently a financialization and a transfer of wealth from the bottom to the top. So anyway, the bond market, which is the Ponzi market base layer, after many, many years talking about when will the bond market finally roll over and we enter a secular bear market for bonds, I think I'm 99% sure now that that's what's just happened. We're entering a secular bear market for bonds. That means that interest rates will be going up for the next 5, 10, or 15 years. It's a secular move in interest rates higher. So that's the de-dollarization. Deglobalization was held together by financialization. So when you pull the pins of financialization out of the monster that was the global empire of debt, you have now countries are breaking apart, and this is causing a lot of agita. True. I mean, El Salvador was the spark, the Bitcoin spark, and it's starting a revolution, and it's spreading to Latin America. We see it in Africa. There's a revolution going on. There's a huge power shift, right? So the U.S. and Great Britain and maybe some European powers and others are going to lose power. I mean, that's that, and some other powers are going to rise up. But it's that's just the cycle. That's one of the cycles, and it doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense, but it's happening. So at some level, it's making some sense on some level.
Right. Well, yeah, it's making sense because there's Somebody compared this whole time to what Stephen Hawking wrote in his groundbreaking book about the origin of the universe. And he said it wasn't even worth trying to understand whatever came before, because it's not possible, because we don't even know. We can't, it's not within our own understanding of the known physics of this universe. So we can't predict, we can't know what could have come before, because all of the physics would have been different. And that's what I think is what we're seeing now. Like it is a big bang going over the event horizon of the black hole of debt, the black hole of fiat, and all the fraudulent debt. Like we went over that event horizon. We started to get pulled into it from the birth of Bitcoin, and it was pulling us into that. And then once you pass the event horizon where there's no turning back, there's no way to go back. And that's when the spaghettification happens, and you're just like dragged, like trying to hang on to the world you knew. And the spaghettification happens. You know, I was actually thinking that. So that the world you knew, right? You're trying to hang on to it, and you're being dragged into the black hole of what's coming next, right? So that's my interpretation. When I look at it, I think, you know what? Bitcoin is peace, and peace is coming. This is going to be
Bitcoin
a short.
demonetizes war and hatred.
Yes,
for sure. But
yes.
It's not going to happen obviously this week or next month. It's going to still have a few battles to fight and win.
Yeah. Well, the old saying used to be, if there's no two nations with a McDonald's will go to war.
Yeah.
But in fact, it's no two people with Bitcoin will go to war, right?
Right.
Because they have a low time preference. They believe in the future, and we're all a family.
It's unconfiscatable.
And it's unconfiscatable.
It's the upside to beating somebody up for their Bitcoin is very low because it's unconfiscatable. So you have to come at them with something else to get their Bitcoin, something value for value. You know, you will help them fix their roof and they'll get some Bitcoin. You can't just hit them on the head with a hammer and steal their Bitcoin. So that process is going to take some time. Those who fight it will be, be stuck in the fiat world, and they're never going to make it. Those who are taking Bitcoin on as legal tender, as the global standard, they'll be Noah's Ark, sailing into the new paradigm, but that's where we're at right now. So you've got Bitcoin has essentially thrown the gauntlet down and said, either you're with Bitcoin or you're against Bitcoin. If you're against Bitcoin, prepare to reap the whirlwind of your stupidity. If you're with Bitcoin, prepare for relentless optimism.
But also, like, for me, and I think most people feel like this, is like when you meet a Bitcoiner, you feel like that is your first connection, right? Like I feel more connected to somebody because they're a Bitcoiner than if they're American or a woman or from Connecticut or like wherever, any other thing that has been part of my life. Like I feel most connected to a Bitcoiner. So I feel more connected to a Bitcoiner in El Salvador or Nigeria or Bolivia or Mexico.
Right. Well,
or,
to that extent,
Ukraine,
it has certain characteristics of a religion. That's why some people say, "Oh, you guys are in a cult. You guys are
tribe.
a religion, or a tribal reference." And that's true with certain religions. You can have a certain religious faith, and you can go anywhere in the world, and if you share that faith,
Sure.
you're immediately in tune with that person. You have the same rituals. You have the same,
yes,
language. In a lot of ways, you look at the earth in a similar way. And so with Bitcoin, the values are consistent throughout the entire tribe or the entire community of unconfiscatable, uncensorable, immutable wealth. I mean, those three kind of phrases are like the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost in Christianity. There are three things that everyone in Christianity accepts if they're a Christian. Okay. There are three things that everyone in Bitcoin community accepts: unconfiscatability, immutability, uncensorability. That's three things we accept as being true, and therefore that offers a communion when you meet other people. So that's absolutely true. And it's because it's perfect money and you have perfect price discovery, it means it's going to win. So we have confidence.
it's not possible to lie, right? No. With Bitcoin.
It doesn't get monetized the way lying does in the fiat world. You can make a living lying in the fiat world, but you can't make a living lying in the Bitcoin world.
Coming back to the Max Keiser's Bitcoin price prediction for 2022, Keiser is predicting that BTC will reach $220,000 before the end of the year. KEISER gave the reasoning for his bullish price prediction, including a justification for why Bitcoin failed to reach six figures in 2021. KEISER argued that the 220K price point was based upon a typical 4-year cycle for Bitcoin. He noted that a number of factors prevented BTC from reaching his bullish mark last year, including the massive collapse in Chinese crypto mining and hashing power. According to KEISER, mining and hash power for Bitcoin fell 50% last year and has only recently recovered. KEISER pointed to Bitcoin's hash rate approaching another all-time high as a particularly bullish signal, justifying his prediction for BTC to reach 220K this year. KEISER, who hosts the KEISER Report, also pointed to weakening fiat currencies as a catalyst for Bitcoin's price increase. He predicted that Bitcoin would eclipse the market capitalization for gold, making it the definitive store of value asset. KEISER called the demand for Bitcoin virtually infinite in light of fiat's inflationary trend, which would continue to drive interest towards Bitcoin. He also mentioned that all the fundamentals of Bitcoin remain very strong, and that's why he has moved the target date for the 220K figure from the end of 2021 to the end of 2022. So, what are your thoughts about Max Keiser's Bitcoin prediction? Tell us in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon with the next video. Thank you so much for watching.